festivalcircuit.com and the director of the Austin After Dark Film Festival. Austin After Dark Film Festival Fall 2022 will be our final event of the year on November the 7th. We're going to be screening at Austin Film Society Cinema, and we're looking forward to screening content that is directed at a mature audience. Please don't bring the kids. It's films that are 30 minutes or less. We have horror films, horror comedy, dark science fiction, animation, television pilots, funny music videos, series episodes, all kinds of content, again, directed at a mature audience. It's going to be a fun night. And we feature films and film screenplays and videos that come from all over the planet to Austin After Dark. And we are fortunate to be joined today by the crew from The Feast from down in New Zealand. And they are joining us. Their film is nominated for the Best Horror Film Award. So thank you, Feast crew, for showing up. How are you?
Thank you. Good, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. I want to tell everyone about your film, but I'm that dude that always gives away the end. So I am going to allow one of you to tell me the synopsis of The Feast.
Sweet. I'll take that.
All right.
The Feast is a story about two siblings, Lucy and Sam, who are visiting their estranged mother. She hasn't been answering any of their phone calls, and their mother has had some problems in the past, some issues, but they think that she is getting better. So they go in to check on her, and they figure out that is actually not the case. And since havoc ensues, and yeah, some crazy stuff happens, which I won't give away, but they find out that she's not okay.
Very well stated. I would have given away much more than that. So thank you for leaving the crowd wanting more. Let's get into this. Let's get into creatively. Why did you want to tell this story? And I guess we can start with the writers first. And since there are two of you, which one of you would like to go first? You want to go start it off, Matthew? Can you tell us kind of what you were thinking when you created this?
Yeah, of course. So we're all lovers of the horror genre, and since we're all student filmmakers, we wanted to do a horror because I feel like it's a genre you can do quite well on a low budget. And also, even more within that, we wanted to use horror as a metaphor to sort of bring light to real life issues. And I feel like it's a really good genre for that. And that's what we try to do with The Feast, is to bring about like a ridge while still making a really hopefully entertaining and cool experience to watch.
All right, going to you, Nikolai. Did this come from some personal experience? Did you go check on a relative and start wondering, like, what if they're all right?
It was just basically, we really wanted to make a film that was, we actually started off with the story having a happy ending. And then when we got more into our own experiences with the subject matter of the film, we realized that we knew a lot of people in our own lives that, it's not always the case that someone does get better from an addiction. And that's just the sad reality. And so we wanted to try and mirror that with the films. And we wanted to use all the horrific and ruinous, disastrous imagery, visceral imagery that horror can offer, and mirror that with the fact that some people don't always get better from their addictions. And so we tried to turn that into a metaphor with the film, with The Feast, and how addiction can consume some people's life, and how that can affect familial situations with the feast and friends. And so we really wanted to try and make a film that was true to some people's reality, that some people don't always get to see a loved one or a friend get better from their addiction. So we tried to find a way to do that with a short horror film. and with the feast.
All right. And what about you, Jess? You got involved somehow, some way. I don't know if you read the script first or heard about the project, but how did you get involved in this?
No, oh, Matthew's gone. I think it was originally Matthew and I. He was writing scripts and he sent me probably 5 different prompts, and the story at the start was completely different. It was like 2 young kids trying to not open a coffin, something ridiculous, which was Matthew's original pitch to me to hop on board as a producer. Don't know where he's gone, but that's all right. And then I think Matthew started talking to Nikolai, and that's kind of how the whole process of the trio forming. And then we developed the story. I was always present at the meetings. Feel like I let the other 2 take most of the reins for sure, and I think they did a fantastic job. Absolutely.
All right. I hear him trying to get back involved here. Let's see if we can get Matthew back. Hey, Matthew, you with us? He's back. All right. Hopefully you can hear us. We just wrapped up the question about being involved creatively. Now I'd like to talk about what you learned from production. How's your connection, Matthew? Can you talk okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
All right. Well, yeah. Talk to me about the production of the film and what did you learn from this process?
Yeah,
We
so
learned so much.
this so much.
You go.
This was writing a script over multiple iterations, and I think that was a huge learning experience for both me and Nikolai. I think the biggest takeaway we got from that was how to filter from people, because we did the script over, I think it was 9 versions in total, and we were seeking feedback continuously from different people for each version. And at one point, I think we got quite overwhelmed by feedback and also the different perspectives and clashing opinions we got. And for a time, we tried to incorporate all of the feedback we got, and the film sort of lost its core a little bit. And so I think a big thing both me and Nikolai took away from that was how to sort of take in feedback, but also be able to filter and figure out what really makes the film better and what feedback we don't need as.
All right. What about you, Nikolai? What'd you learn during this process?
Going on with what Matthew said, it was my first time co-writing, and so that was a really new experience for me with navigating and negotiating our ideas together, and also taking on other people's feedback and reworking that into the script. And it was also my first time directing something on this big of a scale, so that was really exciting and really daunting and scary at the same time. But I learned so much from working on the feast, and it was also, we learned so much about crowdfunding for a film, and working within really tight time constraints as well, because I remember me and Matthew were doing, we were reworking the script to the last minute, maybe like 2 nights before shoot, and like we were it got pretty hectic at some points, and and having to creatively problem solve on the spot and solve issues right then and take on other people's feedback. And it was such an intense experience, but I learned so much from it, and directing a whole cast and crew and directing actors and directing children.
All right. And what about you, Jess? Obviously, you wore many, many hats on this one as a producer.
Ooh, yeah, hats for days. I think Matthew and Nikolai did me the most dirty, perhaps 2.5 weeks before we were filming, and they rewrote the script one night and came to me the next day and said, "So we've rewritten it, and we need 2 more actors. We've written in a whole other scene with 2 more characters." And I was like, "This is not happening. Change it back." And then I read it. I was like, I guess it makes more sense. I guess it improves the story about 4 billion times. So that was hectic, having to find child actress and another actor, but that's okay. It was so worth it in the end. Yeah, it was hectic. We were location scouting for months. There was a time where it was like, maybe we'll drive up to Nikolai's mum's house, which is a 10-hour drive from Wellington in New Zealand, considering that. But we found this phenomenal house through the most ridiculous means. One of the lecturers that we were talking a lot with showed us a house on Google Maps. She's like, yeah, I went to this house once. I think it's this one on this street, but I wouldn't know what number it was. We're like, okay. And so we went to the street and we were like, maybe looks like it could be this house. And we knocked on the front door and they were like, hello, come in. How are you doing? We're like, hey, we don't know you. And they let us in. And then they're like, oh, a short film? Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. And it was the house that we shot for, I think, 5 days in the end. And it looked so creepy. It's already scary when we went to see it, even before we dressed it. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the most wild thing. Learning how to cold knock on people's doors.
That's a great story.
That time.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about yeah, very cool. Let's talk about the future. What have each of you? What are you working on? We'll stay with you on this one, Jess. What's your next project?
Yeah, well, I feel like this taught me so much about organization skills, and so after we finished the feast, I managed to get a job at Weta Digital in Wellington, which is super cool, at a VFX company, doing like big worldwide movies, which is so exciting. And then on the side, I've been working on a different short film, helping out my friends. It's like another like 10 or 12 minute short, I would say, and we're filming for a week in December, where we're going up to the Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, to a beautiful farmland in the countryside. So I'm helping them organize that. It's not my own creative one. I've stepped in kind of 6 months after everyone else to be extra hands on deck. So that's pretty exciting. It's kind of like the two big things in my life.
All right. And Matthew, what are you working on?
Since the feast, I've been entering a lot of screenwriting competitions. Personally, I'm a really big procrastinator when it comes to writing, and I feel like competitions help me. They give me a deadline, in which case I can actually get it done. Whereas if you give me unlimited data script, I'll use all of that time. I'm also DOPing and being gaffer friend's short film, where he's just finished up the script and I've sort of taken a look at all of the versions, provided feedback along the way. It's a passion project of his and I'm really excited to be helping out on it.
All right. And Nikolai, what about you?
Yeah, like Matthew, I'm writing a lot and just keeping that creative juices flowing in my head and writing a lot and reworking other stories. And would really love to get a team together to see those through in development one day. But for now, I've actually moved to Auckland and I'm actually dipping my toes in theatre. I've been doing some work with the Auckland Theatre Company and the Auckland Theatre Youth Company, and getting into some other passions of mine like acting and writing and directing and all that stuff. But yeah, would love to see my ideas through and just keeping on writing and creating stories and ideas. And yeah.
All right. And would one of you like to just take where can someone contact you if they want to reach you or follow the film Feast?
So we have an Instagram and Facebook at God Dark Films. You can check that out with updates on the film, how well the film's doing, and yeah. And we would just we would also like to thank you guys in Austin, Texas, the Oregon judges for selecting our film to be part of your festival. It was the first film festival that we were selected to, so we're really grateful for that, and we're really excited when we got the news. And we're sorry that we won't attend the film festival, but we're sending all the best vibes over from New Zealand. And yeah, just to everyone who helped us out with the feast, Jonathan King, our lecturer, our people who helped us find the location and use their location, and everyone who helped us donated towards the film. We're just really thankful. And to everyone in Austin, Texas, we're really thankful as well.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you taking the time, all three of you taking the time to join me today on this interview. We're looking forward to the screening in your film. That really makes the judges look good when we're able to show quality films like that. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you for enjoying the feast.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
No worries. Have a good one.